Let me guess. You've got dreams that are so big that it keeps you up at night, causes you stress, causes you anxiety, because ultimately you're not accomplishing them, you're not accomplishing your goals, and year after year just keeps on going by and you feel like you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. You're not lazy and you're not broken, but let's be brutally honest here. You are wasting your life if you are not accomplishing your goals. Every day that you don't take action, a version of you dies. That version of you that wrote the book, that filmed the script, the version of you that learned how to paint, learned Spanish, built a new business, painted a masterpiece. You've got big dreams, huge aspirations, and you just know that if you could just get it together, if you could just get the thing done, if you could be disciplined, if you could be consistent, you know you could be big. Play it big in this world. You just know it. But yet, you've let yourself down one way or another over time because you haven't really proven to yourself that you actually can get it done. You could start that business or learn Spanish or learn how to paint. So many things, you know that you have it in you. Yet, for some reason, you just don't. And so you say year after year, this is my year, this is my year. Yet another year passes and you're like, I didn't quite do what I wanted to do. And this happens to a lot of us, right? You will never have true fulfillment if you know that there's something more inside of you that wants to come out and be expressed in this world. And no one can do it except for you. No one can fulfill something inside of you that needs to come out. Not a relationship, not a parent, not a sibling or a friend, only you. Let's change that. First, I wanted to tell you a little story of a friend of mine I met a few years ago, and we'll just call him Sam. And Sam always had these big dreams, killer ideas, and talking to him was like listening to a mastermind TED Talk while sipping coffee, right? But the problem with Sam is that he never actually did any of it. And one day I finally asked him, I'm like, hey, Sam, what happens if you never do any of this? What happens if you get to the end of your life, but you never actually accomplished anything that you always talked about doing? You know, and he's just like, kind of laughed and was like, well, I'm not ready yet. You know, I need to do a little bit more research. I need a little bit more time. And the truth of the matter is there is no perfect time. The perfect time is now. The perfect time is now. You're never going to be perfect. You're never going to feel amazing to go work out. If you want to work out and you want to get healthy, you're going to have to push through not feeling good to get healthy, right? Or if you want to write the book, well, you're going to have to just actually start writing. If you want to learn how to play the piano, you actually need to start playing the piano, right? You want to do YouTube, you actually got to make videos, right? And spoiler alert, the perfect moment never happens. So you gotta get past that resistance to doing the thing that you have the most resistance towards. Most of us are like Sam, right? And I used to be just like this. You think we need more motivation, more clarity, more time, more caffeine, when you actually, no. What we need is a funeral of the fantasy version of ourselves that never questions whether or not what we're doing is actually making sense, by just hoping and manifesting, and that magically starts to happen. No, that's not you. You're you. You're brilliant, you're flawed, and welcome to the real grind, getting past yourself. We have to have a clear, concise plan. We have to have a vision, a plan, and a way to execute that plan in a very consistent way. But most of us have a hard time with that, so let's fix that. How can we do that? The problem isn't necessarily time, it's identity. You need to become the kind of person that follows through, that finishes projects. Discipline isn't something that you have, it's something that you build, brick by uncomfortable brick, one at a time, step by step. Small things compound into great things. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And most people don't have any. So let's change that. And what is a system really? A system is a repeatable process that turns your intentions into results. So the next part of this video is practical steps on how to actually get shit done. So let's go. So here's how to escape the black hole of wasted potential. One way to create a system is to time block. And I personally have a problem time blocking on the computer. A lot of times that works for a lot of people, or maybe they use Google, or they use maybe an app on their phone, but for me, that never works. I've tried it, or I'll have a journal, a bullet journal, and it looks all nice and pretty, and that doesn't work for me either. The only thing that works for me to keep a schedule and to create a schedule, to create a system for myself, is to have a huge whiteboard. And I have multiple whiteboards for different things, but for the schedule, to accomplish my projects, to accomplish what I want to accomplish, to track my habits, I use a whiteboard, an erase board. And for the week, I put up the week and what I'm gonna do on each day. So this is the plan. You gotta make yourself a plan, you gotta make yourself a schedule. And I know when you're a messy, artistic type like myself, it's difficult to kind of rein yourself in. But I've realized over time that not having a schedule, not having things marked off that I need to do each day has kept me back. That it's kept me from moving forward, that it's kept me from being disciplined, it's kept me from being consistent, right? And the only way to actually accomplish the goals, to finish a project, is to work at it each day, or at least have movement forward each week. So create yourself a schedule. Set stupidly small goals. And I'm serious. Like, just make a goal that is so easy that you feel guilty if you don't, because it's like, how can you not? Big goals inspire you, but small goals build you. Let's repeat that. Really think about that. Big goals inspire you, but tiny goals build you. We gotta build on small progress, which compounds into big success. A lot of times in my past, the problem that I had is that I'd have like some big astronomical version of something. I would have this big idea about something, but I couldn't see the small little steps on how to get there. So I would have the beginnings of the ideation and then a goal way out here, but I didn't understand what the steps were to get there. So I kind of just never did anything. And I also switched goals all the time. Eventually I realized I didn't have a system, I just had goals. And what happens is if you don't have systems, you don't know if you're actually getting towards your goal or not, because you don't have a system in place to be able to track whether or not you're making progress or not. So also what I used to do is I would just change the plan. Maybe I'd want to be a photographer and then something would happen and then I'm like, okay, scratch that. I'm not going to be a photographer. I'm going to be somebody else now. I'm going to be a fashion designer. And then something else would happen. And I'm like, scratch that. Okay, now I'm going to be ... You know what I mean? So what happened is that something happened, and because I had no system, I didn't have anything to fall back on. And so I just felt like the plan wasn't good enough, or the plan wasn't going to work, and I wasn't going to be able to succeed in that. So I would just switch the plan, right? So don't switch your plan, keep the plan, change your system. That's the key. And then track your identity. Each time that you accomplish a little goal, say to yourself, I am someone who is consistent. I am someone who is disciplined. I am someone who finishes projects. Every time that you recognize or become aware, and say it out loud if you can, because there's something about saying something out loud that brings the abstract from your brain and brings it out into the real material world. So I'm not sure neurologically what the science is behind all that, but if you can, and you don't look crazy in the moment, unless you don't care if you look crazy or not, but if you can, say it out loud, or even better, write it down. Write it down. You can write yourself an affirmation, but Each time that you do those sit-ups, or each time you write 100 words because you want to write a book, or you sit down and you practice Spanish for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, each time that you do it, say, I am the kind of person that finishes projects. I am the kind of person that is consistent. Look, I just did something. And that's why you want to start small, because you want to make those small goals easy for yourself, right? Recently, I like to go to the gym and sit in the sauna a lot. So recently I decided I'm going to habit stack that. I told myself I need to get on the elliptical for 20 minutes. And then after the 20 minutes, then I can go sit in the sauna. So I started doing that, and then I started doing actually more workout. So it's kind of just like a psychological trick for yourself just to get started, because a lot of times once you get started, you keep going, right? But you just got to get past that initial resistance to actually do the thing. Ultimately, procrastination or self-sabotage is a little trickster in the mind, and it tells you tomorrow, later, we'll build it later, we'll do it later, I'll do it next week, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it better next time. Procrastination tricks you into believing that the future is some later version of yourself. But it's not true. The version of yourself that you want to be in the future is right now. Your future is built in the next 10 minutes. Step by little step, building on a win each time. You don't need a sign, you don't need to be ready, you just need to start. Pick one thing, do it badly, but just do it. The life you want won't magically appear. It gets carved out of resistance, one decision at a time. Being disciplined isn't about being perfect, it's about showing up, even when you don't feel like it. The secret? Everything starts with self-control. And if you don't master yourself and your impulses, you're never going to accomplish your goals. The life you want won't magically appear. It's all about self-mastery, self-control, impulse control, setting a system, having those goals. So stop scrolling, stop procrastinating, start building your life, start learning how to be consistent. When you make a system, tweak it, start building before another version of you dies. Until next week, bye.